Hello, this is Vaibhav Agrawal from AWS Analytics Solution Architecture team. Amazon Redshift continues to make it easier for customers to process and analyze data. In this video, I will walk you through Amazon Redshifts new query monitoring capability that enables you to easily monitor queries, load data, and view key metrics, all using the new Redshift console in an intuitive and user-friendly way. I will show you how you can use automated suggestions provided by Amazon Redshift for query optimization. For the demo, I already have a Redshift cluster running with several queries running against it. We are looking at Redshift cluster page on Amazon Redshift console, and we are looking at query monitoring tab as well as query history section of query monitoring tab. As a DBA or data engineer, you would be mostly interested in top 100 queries by duration for say last 1 hour, and this tab is defaulted to those options as shown above, and that duration which you have chosen reflects down below in the time scale section. In this case it shows last 1 hour. If you wish to change these default options, you can pick one of these options from the drop downs above. Now once you have chosen these options, all the queries running against the cluster shows up on the query runtime Gantt chart here in the form of a colored bar. The length of the bar represents the query runtime, and you can hover on top of it to learn about quick query details. Let's click on the query list and pick a query we want to isolate and review. In order to do that, you can click on one of the bars on the Gantt chart. For example, let's click on this bar with 3 query IDs. A link pops up which takes you to this query details page. On the query details page, you will see that it is a rewritten query which is automatically generated by Amazon Redshift for optimization. The first bullet gives you the parent query, and you can review the SQL statement for the parent query. Then you can review the individual SQL statements generated by Amazon Redshift as part of rewritten query. So for example, if you look at this first one, down below you can again review the SQL statement on the query details, and you can also review the actually executed query plan. It first shows all the plan steps, but if you just want to isolate the problem steps, you can choose that from the drop down, and it gives you only the problem steps. It also provides you optimization information, and in order to do that, you can click on the red triangle which pops up the optimization information on the right side of the screen, which you can use to optimize your query further. Now let's go back to the query monitoring page and look at some more features. On query monitoring page, we'll scroll down and look at the queries and load section. In queries and load section, you will see there is a list of all the queries which is shown based on the option selected above, basically top 100 queries. By default, the page is set to 50 queries per page, so you can go to the next pages to look at the remaining queries. You can also use the filter queries search box to isolate queries. So if you want to look at queries which are running against the sales tables alone, then you can type sales and you will see the list gets refreshed by that. This list is in the form of tables and columns as header. If you want, you can actually toggle these columns to change the sort order. Now suppose you have a user which has provided you a query ID and you want to investigate about that one particular query, and you know the query ID. So you can actually type that query ID right in the search box. The list will get refreshed to show you just that one query. This query row also has a link to the query which takes you to that query detail page which we have already seen before. Next, look at the cluster metrics view. In the cluster metrics view, you will see that for the top 100 queries in last 1 hour, key cluster metrics like CPU utilization, storage capacity, etc. are populated. You can hover on these metrics graphs and derive correlation between them. Also correlation with the query itself. So for example, you may have a use case that your CPU utilization peaked at a certain point in time and you want to see that at this point in time what was the query which got impacted, and you can click there and check the query ID, and you can use the query ID with previous shown methods to look at the query details and investigate that query. You can actually drag your mouse and zoom in into that point in time when your CPU utilization was high, and this way once you zoom in you can easily pinpoint the queries which you are running at that point in time. And once you know the query, you can actually again click on the query and get to the link as shown earlier. Next, let's look at the database performance section. In this section, we will look at key, cluster and WLMQ metrics. Similar to how we have seen in the query history section, these key metrics could be correlated by moving your mouse over one metrics and it shows values across the other metrics as well. One other thing to note is the time period which you have selected in the first section carries over, so you don't have to select it again. Let's look at the workload concurrency section at last. For workload concurrency section, you will see the number of queries which are running on the cluster versus the queued queries. It also tells you if any concurrency scaling activity happened at your cluster at any point in time. In order to demonstrate that, I will actually use a custom window of time because I know for my cluster at that point in time I had concurrency scaling activity. In your case, if you are doing live monitoring, you can directly see it on the screen. Now once I submit that new time period, you will see that it is now getting reflected on the time scale. My metrics have been updated, and down below I can see that the different points in time when concurrency scaling activity was happening on my cluster. I can also see the total concurrency scaling usage. Thank you for watching the video. Please do use these features and provide your feedback so we can continue to make Redshift easier for you to use.